everyone, thanks for joining us for this video. It should be around about 15 minutes or so. Brendan McLaughlin is the course leader for BA Sports Journalism. My name is Chris Ford. I'm one of the senior lecturers on the team. And what we want to do basically is talk you through what we do on this course, how we teach it, and also have a little bit of a boast as well about some of the successes that we've had, because obviously what we really want to do is have people come, have a great experience on the degree, but also have a realistic opportunity to get jobs at the end of that process. And so far, what we're seeing this year especially are some fantastic results that we'll come to later on.
Thank you, Chris. So first of all, just want to tell you a little bit about the staff we have here at the university. I'll start with myself. My background very much in print and online, still freelance for the likes of The Athletic, The Independent and Perform Group. John Palmer, you'll see down there, just here. John is the Cheltenham Town correspondent still for Gloucestershire Live. As you might know, Cheltenham had a fantastic season, gaining promotion from League 2 to League 1. John also was involved in that coverage of the FA Cup game against Manchester City, interviewing Pep Guardiola afterwards. And John's, local knowledge of this area has been invaluable to this course in terms of building links with both grassroots clubs and those bigger clubs that we have here in Gloucestershire. Tom Bradshaw down there in the bottom left-hand corner. Tom still freelances extensively for The Times and also for BBC Radio. Rugby union is his sport, so gives a really important, base of knowledge in that sport to the course. Obviously, we're very much in rugby union territory here as well. And then you'll see here Julia and Erica, two vastly experienced broadcasters. Julia still working very closely with the BBC as a freelancer, and Erica many years with ITV. And then Joe at the bottom, academic, who's contributed articles to The Athletic as well in the past 12 months. So we've got a really strong lecturing team. I'm going to hand back to Chris in a second to tell you a bit more about himself, because Chris, you've been pretty busy too.
Yeah, so broadcasting is really my speciality, television broadcasting. As you can see, been quite active over the last year, covering the Europa League for BT Sport, Premier League for Amazon Prime, and I'm also a regular on the list for big tournaments as well, so World Cups, European Championships and Olympics as well. I'm often sent abroad to work on those events. And the good thing about that is it keeps my industry skills really fresh, really on top of where we need to be, especially over the last year with the pandemic, where things have changed a lot about broadcasting techniques and how we keep safe. And that was brilliant for me to be able to bring that back into the classroom and make sure that students were able to go out and continue to work or work remotely and do it to industry standards. So really important for all of us that we're out in industry, keep our skills fresh, which then allows us to bring it into the classroom.
Thanks, Chris. Just a quick rundown on the ethos of our course, really. So first of all, I'd say I think we're in the ideal spot in this country to be running a sports journalism course. And although we might not have, a Premier League club, say, right on the patch here, we're really blessed in terms of having an ideal blend of grassroots and local links, as well as national links too. We've got this triangle of cities, Birmingham, Bristol and Cardiff, all within around an hour of us. As a lecturing team, all of us have worked, or at least one of us has worked in each of those areas. And with that, we've got brilliant contacts with the media outlets and the clubs in those areas. So we're able to offer lots of opportunities locally within Gloucestershire, both with grassroots clubs and the likes of Cheltenham, Forest Green and Gloucester Rugby. But in addition to that, with Premier League clubs like Aston Villa, like West Brom, like Wolverhampton Wanderers, and also, further afield too. So real positive for us, we feel. Multimedia skills, that's another thing I really want to stress. This is a course that will offer you the full range of skills which industry now requires from the journalists that are, starting out their journeys. So radio, TV, social media, online, and also very much still those more traditional skills that you'd associate maybe with newspaper journalists, still important for the young journalists to be aware of those. Lots of, we've had to obviously adapt this year with the pandemic in terms of some of the opportunities that we've been able to offer, but fingers crossed things are moving in the right direction, and getting students out of the classroom and, to stadiums, to matches is something we can certainly offer. And obviously with the range of expertise that we have within our department, we're able to give a lot of tips on building contacts and how to go about becoming a journalist. Underpinning all of that as well is our university's personal tutor system. So every student that comes here is assigned a personal tutor who they can meet with multiple times a year, which I think is really important, particularly at the moment that they have that additional support in place. Okay, so just wanted to mention trips there, and what I want to talk to you a little bit about is the opportunities we're able to offer further afield. This is actually Wembley, back when Spurs were playing at Wembley for a period before their stadium was being built. And next to me here at the front is Andy Walker, who's the head of the FA's communications. He's the chap that will be briefing Gareth Southgate, will be briefing the England players ahead of their matches. And he was able to give a sports PR masterclass to one of our year groups. Bus trip to London for the day, got to get a tour of the Wembley facilities, and then hear from Andy on what it's like working with Gareth Southgate and the kinds of things that he's done, how he's got into the industry. So really invaluable opportunity again through the contacts that we have on the course. And here, this is a more recent one. Great, this is our first guest speaker back on campus after obviously what's been a challenging year. So wonderful to have Ian Danter, the TalkSport commentator, joining us for a commentary masterclass using FIFA to basically teach students how to put commentaries together. So really innovative experience for our students. The feedback was amazing, and it's something that we'll be looking forward to doing again. But I must say, no controllers, just simulations of FIFA. Important I point that one out.
And that's one of the things that we like to try and do, is to innovate. Obviously, we teach the kind of skills that have been prevalent in sports journalism for many, many years, but we're also very aware of the fact that the landscape is changing. So we do teach other skills as well. Brendan has mentioned about social media. So Owen Mayers, who is one of our interns at Cheltenham Town, you will know that they were promoted a couple of weeks ago, and you may well have seen this clip already. We try and teach skills about news, about journalism, about how to record things, but it's only when people are out in the field that you find out how much they've learned. And Owen basically spotted an opportunity. He saw that the football team were running out of the stadium to go and greet the fans that were waiting. He followed them with his mobile phone, he filmed it, posted it onto Twitter, and 250,000 views later, he was a viral superstar. So that was really important experience for him and for the course. And also we look at things like design, which is becoming more and more prevalent. So Photoshop design to either preview an event or to review an event is now all part of the skill set that is really expected by multimedia journalists when they start out in this industry. James Cox created this image for Arsenal, which was then retweeted by the club account, and you can imagine the amount of eyes that then went to. And then the more traditional side of things as well. So Cameron Smith was involved in a press conference style interview with a Wolves player, and then effectively his feature won a competition run by Wolves. So the story went out on the Wolves website, which was fantastic, but then it was picked up by the PremierLeague.com website as well. And you can imagine worldwide the amount of people that visit that site, the interest in the Premier League. It was fantastic for a first year to get that level of exposure.
Thank you, Chris. Obviously, we've had to adapt during this past 12 months with the pandemic, and bringing online speakers has been a real success story for us. Setting up weekly webinars for our students to basically have discussions and hear from the very biggest names in the sports media and sporting world. So you'll probably recognise a lot of these faces. Guillem Balaguer, the highly respected journalist and author. Spanish football, very much his area. That was a really popular one. Emil Heskey here in the top right-hand corner. Emil had a book out around 6 months ago, which Telegraph shortlisted for Sports Book of the Year. Kelly Summers, Kelly Cates, both gave some wonderful insights into broadcasting. And Nigel Pearson, just before he took on the Bristol City role, in between jobs, again, a manager that we both of us have worked with closely, Chris, in the past during his time at Leicester City, who gave a wonderful webinar, really giving a managerial perspective on what it's like working with the media, and a few tips to the students as to how you can maybe build relationships with managers, which is something that's obviously really important.
Something that's really important to all of us is using the contacts that we have from still being in industry. So Brendan had worked in the past with Harry Redknapp and persuaded Harry to come on campus, and he was fantastic. Gave up an entire day, and nothing was off the record. He did a 1 hour live TV show where some of our sports broadcasting students were able to interview him in front of a live crowd. And he did several interviews as well for radio and various other things as well. And it was great to have him on board, and to have the students interview that level of person was a fantastic challenge for them. You can also see others that come in from the industry, the press industry. Henry Winter there, one of the most respected writers in the country, actually came in. Probably the busiest lecture hall we've ever had for a visiting guest, I would say. It was really standing room only. And Henry was fantastic, gave some fantastic tips, even tips that I could pick up on as well, actually. But one of the things that he said, one of the things that keeps him going is the sound of young people behind him, chasing him down, trying to take his work. And that was fantastic inspiration for the students. And then Jill Douglas there as well, coming in and doing a really sort of a lesson on the flash interview, which is her real forte, to actually have those short, sharp questions that are open-ended right after an event, so you can get a great line. And that was great to see Jill doing that.
I'll start with this one. We've got a brilliant range really of internships and work placements that are both based in the county and then really across the country really, in terms of opportunity we can offer. You'll see down here in the bottom right hand corner clubs within the region: Gloucester Rugby, Cheltenham Town, Forest Green Rovers and Bristol City. Our students all have had roles and have roles working closely with them. But in addition to that, places like Wimbledon, we've had students go and spend a fortnight as part of the media team at Wimbledon, at the All England Club, which is just wonderful. And ESPN, you'll see here Lewis Holman, he was selected, basically a nationwide search for an intern from ESPN, and Lewis was selected for that 1 year role. Sandwich year is now something that's available on this course if it's something that's to be of interest to you. And Lewis has, during his third year, taken that year out to go and spend the whole year with ESPN. That's some brilliant bylines.
Yeah, we talk about contacts as well all the time. John Palmer, of course, is our real finger on the pulse when it comes to local journalism and Cheltenham Town in particular. And he and the students spoke with Richard Joyce, who you can see in this picture there, head of media, about increasing the internship programme and increasing their responsibility in the level of coverage that they produce. And it turned out to be a fantastic year to do it, because obviously a highlight in any normal year might have been Manchester City and Pep Guardiola coming along for an FA Cup tie. But of course, Cheltenham went one better and got promotion to League One. And we planted a seed with the students last summer and said to them, you try and raise the game. What can you do for the club? And in a pandemic year, what they decided to do was create a weekly show which looked at Cheltenham Town, not just the men's team, but the women's team as well, which is really important to increase the diversity and increase the relationship with the fans and with that particular element of the club. And it's something that worked out fantastically. One of the benefits of the pandemic really was that we were able to reach out to the fans and create that connection. And these interns, 5 or 6 of them, got some fantastic experiences over the course of the year, and things that will really hold them in good stead for getting jobs once they graduate.
Yeah, they even got a mention on Football Focus, Chris, didn't they?
It did.
Speaking of that connection with industry, that's something that we really pride ourselves on. You'll see here a group of the students at the Sports Journalism Awards with me. I'm lucky enough to be a judge for the Sports Journalists Association when it comes to them deciding who the various winners of competitions for broadcasting, for writing, are my area being writing. And that's a wonderful networking event. Really, that's a ticket that money can't buy for those students who were able to join me on my table that year. I know Lucy there, just to the left of me, she was able to get Mike Atherton's contact details. She's cricket nuts. So, for Lucy to be able to mix with the great and the good of sports journalism, I think Lewis here on the far right, he came away with 8 or 9 different numbers and email addresses. So it's brilliant that we can open those doors for our students. So I'm really proud to have that role with the SJA as a judge, and we'll continue to do so because of the opportunity it can offer. Very similar with the FWA. Caitlin here, you'll see just here, she is been nominated for Student Journalist of the Year in the female category. So the strong links that we have with the FWA, which have assisted in building the student membership that they have, is definitely sort of reaping rewards for our students too.
It's no good students making those contacts if they don't make the most of them. Nicholas Quarles Van Uffen is an extremely good example of someone who made contacts and made the most of it. Got an opportunity to go out to Madrid, work as an intern on Real Madrid TV, came back, finished his degree, and at the back end of that degree received a phone call asking him to go back to Madrid to work as their pitch side reporter. It turned out that it's a lot more than that. He's pitch side reporter, he's lead commentator on their Champions League games, he's the interpreter for their press conferences. Nick speaks 5 languages. So, we can give you those opportunities to get your foot in the door. Then it's about the students forcing that door open and taking the opportunity.
Another student we're extremely proud of is Art Deroche. Some of you might have even heard of Art now because his reputation is very much on the rise. His social media following now up to 18,000 odd followers. Art graduated from the course in 2019. He spent a year at Football London and then was picked up in 2020 by The Athletic, which I'm sure many of you are aware, a huge new player in the sports media landscape. So Art is a Arsenal correspondent for them, actually an Arsenal fan, Art, so really a dream job for him. And very much like Nick, he's absolutely earned that job through the hard work that he put in during his time at university, building up experience, building up contacts. I remember for his final year project, him getting an interview with West Ham's Michail Antonio. There's no doubt that interview played a big part in him getting the opportunity with Football London. Things have accelerated from there, and he did work experience with the likes of Worcester Warriors Rugby Club. He was published in the Aston Villa programme. Again, both opportunities that the course were able to set up for him, but it's very much Art who deserves all that credit for the hard work he put in and making his own look, really. Got some amazing outcomes here, just to give you a quick sense of the kinds of clubs and the kind of media outlets that our students have gone on to get roles with. So you'll see here a number of Premier League clubs, a number of legacy media outlets like The Times, for example, Sky Sports News, BBC. We've mentioned Art at The Athletic. So we're really proud of where our students have gone on to. And just to finish, Chris, we want to tell you a bit about this spring 2021, which has just been phenomenal for us.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Obviously, the hope for us is always that the students graduate and then they go on and get a job. What we're seeing so far is that students haven't even graduated yet and they're getting jobs, such as the calibre and the quality of students that are leaving us. And I think a lot of that is down to the internships that they're doing as well, because they're building a huge and impressive portfolio of work that they can then start applying for jobs for in their final year. And we find that people are basically desperate to take them on. So just a few of the jobs that we've seen people get. Bristol Live social media video content creator. So that was Alex, one of our students who worked producing video for Cheltenham Town Football Club. That work was seen by Bristol Live and now he'll be producing video content for them. So yeah, some fantastic names, some fantastic jobs as well.
Absolutely wonderful, Chris. Seems like a perfect note to end on. So we hope to see you all soon. Thanks for your time and all the best.